Ladies and gentlemen, that is the sound of a ship possibly leaving without you. XRP has ripped through an incredibly important resistance of the 60-cent level. We have seen a 64% total rally off of its lows with no signs of slowing down. Should we be buying or selling XRP at these levels? We will discuss in detail about whether this is a fake out or not using the Elliott Wave Theory. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the X-Force Global channel. Thank you very much for joining. Remember, my videos are not given as financial advice, but rather an educational perspective of how to view the markets, so please take everything with a grain of salt. From our previous videos, we have continuously discussed whether XRP was ready for a breakout or not, and this may be the only time that XRP may have its final chance of breaking out of these tough levels of resistances, as we are still working within a possible massive triangle. For those that are new, you may be familiar with the triangle pattern already, but did you know that the Elliott Wave Theory utilizes the triangle pattern as well? Well, this is one of the many types of patterns or correction patterns within the Elliott Wave toolbox. And if the triangle does play out, it usually is one of the most rewarding patterns to play other than a third wave impulse due to its distribution pattern and the predictability nature that is formed after the corrective waves of the triangle has finished. Although there may be some subjectivity on whether these triangles have a high hit rate or not, once identified, especially when you have all of the subwaves printed, denoted as an A, B, C, D, E, there is no reason to not take a trade from this triangle pattern as well, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain why. Now, I've kind of compiled all of the benefits and challenges with the triangle, but if we start off with the benefits, triangles are arguably one of the most predictable patterns to trade. Again, I mentioned that even people who are not versed in Elliott Wave Theory see these types of patterns. I mean, here's one clear example of this person I saw at Twitter or X is also seeing a clear distribution pattern type. This guy, pseudo-named Waters Above, did a pretty fantastic job of applying fractals and tried to identify distribution patterns. Not exactly as a triangle, but still utilizing the same notion of idea that some kind of lower highs and higher lows are being created with these different peaks. What that means is that since triangles are transitional waves, the breakout direction is often going to be seen in wave 4s and breakout in the direction of the primary trend, and in this case, the wave 5, since we're assuming that a wave 4 is coming to a conclusion. This can provide a pretty clear trade strategy signal or entry once you have identified a subwave E being possibly completed within the triangle. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the assumption of our triangle being completed via that subwave E. Then there's the idea of the triangle pattern that does a fantastic job of giving clear risk reward levels based on risk management itself. Triangles often or offer defined levels for setting stop loss orders, and as you can see, as traders can place the stops just outside of the pattern boundaries or previous subwave known as an invalidation, the invalidation level is going to be that C wave here, not the trend line itself. Then there is a psychology behind it when it comes to the continuation pattern itself. They help identify continuation in the direction of the prevailing trend, like I mentioned, making them very, very useful for trend following strategies. So if you are a breakout trader, then these are a fantastic pattern to trade, right? Now, the drawbacks. Now, there are some drawbacks and challenges when it comes to the triangle. So the first one, the complexity of the triangle itself is one of them. Accurately identifying the triangle requires a pretty significant expertise and practice because triangles have specific rules. Most notably that each subwave has to be created in simple zigzags or ABCs, as you can see, and can only allow one complex zigzag known as a WXY within the triangle. So we have this WXY here and we've already exhausted that. So we have to create the remaining subwaves as simple zigzags. Then there's a subjectivity behind the triangle itself, which means that the interpretation of waves can be subjective, and even when they are identified properly, many traders will often be biased and think it won't play out. This is more of a recent observation than anything else. And then there's the idea of false breakouts. Like all chart patterns, triangles can produce false breakouts. That's just the nature of how the game works. But remember, I mentioned that there is a way to identify where you can keep your possible stop losses as invalidation level for the current subwave E we are currently in. To be more precise, the price should not go beyond the previous subwave C, and that goes for all the other subwaves of the preceding waves. And the triangle can remain valid until it actually breaks that level, not this trend line as itself. This is the AC trend line since it has broken already since then, as long as it doesn't break the C wave, it's completely valid. Now, what does that mean in totality? It means that you should be treating XRP as an investment at this point, ladies and gentlemen. 7 to 8 years of accumulation is nearly impossible to day trade. That is my own perspective of how I see this coin personally. You should be treating this as a breakout pattern. And since the risk reward is literally set for us, as we have the assumption of the triangle now at peak validation and now assumed complete, then validation level is absolutely clear. We also have a massive risk reward potential of at least 1 to 11 or so, and that is extremely massive. That's a 3,000% possible gain against a possible 35% loss, just based on what is known as the post-triangle thrust measurement strategy, which is used to identify the target after a triangle. I discussed this in my previous XRP video. But to calculate the thrust very simply, once you have the width of the triangle or the height, the triangle projects the distance from the point where the triangle ends, and in this case the subwave E. So you then take that measurement and apply to the termination of where you believe the triangle has ended, right here as we have it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's that clear. Whether you buy here or not at this point on the macro, it's pretty clear that it doesn't even really matter where you buy. But if we had to find a specific spot, if we do zoom in, we can find potential efficiency zones in terms of whether you're really looking for a possible efficient zone for buying in. We do have a possible 5-wave completion here where we have a pretty good looking 5-wave move up on the shorter time frame. Depending on Bitcoin's pattern and distribution and behavior, we just do not know whether this is going to be continuing up or not. But with the current data given, we do have 5 waves up, and that is why I'm doing this update alone. We could have a possible ABC correction being built here, meaning that after 5 waves, we create one higher degree and we look for an ABC pattern to create that second degree. And if we do get the ABC pattern, based on what Fibonacci level that applies and what kind of correction type pattern happens, I won't go too deep into that because I already explained that in my other videos on what type of correction patterns are available. But if we do get that wave 2, this could be a next opportunity in terms of a buy zone. So it may be around 50 cents, could be 40 cents, all the way down to these levels here in the 40-cent levels. We simply just do not know. But that is the risk that you have to be willing to take. That's something that we cannot, as Elliott Wave traders, really make the assumption, because we all have different subjective approaches in terms of what patterns may be playing out and what Fibonacci levels are going to be acting as support. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, focus on the macro. That is the key. It is frustrating when you see these types of breakouts and you miss it. But again, I'm here to give you my clear vision on how I see XRP. The risk reward management is absolutely phenomenal. 1 to 11 possibility right here as a conservative target, as the 5th wave is possibly approaching, as we have this wave 4 concluding as a triangle. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, please do not hesitate to contact me to join my X-Force Discord membership. The link is in the description below. If you're not following me on X, on social media, please do give me a follow there. Come and say hi. I do my daily updates there as well at X@XForce Global. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.